Okay, today I'm going to show you how I dehydrate sweet potatoes. Here is a jumbo sweet potato, probably the biggest one we had. It was 6 pounds. First thing you got to do is scrub it with a brush. Get all the dirt off, because I'm not going to peel it until after it's cooked. And you don't want your sweet potatoes boiling in dirty water. So, a lot of people don't use the big sweet potatoes because they say they're stringy and fibery and all that stuff. Well, the way we do it, they can't be, because we're going to cube them up, boil them, and then we'll put them in the mixer and beat them to death and then powder them. Well, there's nothing left to be fibery. Okay, when you get like that, you have to cut it in the groove. See, it's fine inside, and then scrub that area that was in the groove, or else you'll be hiding dirt. Okay, now then, and these are really hard to chop, so you really need a good knife. I cube them up into pieces about like that. Nothing to it. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and cut up a bucket or a pan full of sweet potatoes. Scrub them and cut them up. There's no reason for you to watch me do them all. So I'll be back in a minute when I get that done. Alright, now we've got about 14.5 pounds of sweet potatoes in the pot to boil. I try to do between 14 and 15.5 pounds, because that's pretty well, when I get them all cleaned up and mashed and all that, that's pretty well what fits in the Excalibur dehydrator, the 9-tray model. So anyhow, we'll boil potatoes. We'll be back when they're done. Alright, they boiled for, after they got back up to boil, they probably boiled 15-20 minutes. So now we'll check them. And here's a chunk, and it is fork tender. And you can see how the skin is starting to separate from the potato. It just kind of falls off on its own. Makes it a whole lot easier to skin the things doing it this way than it does to try to peel them beforehand and spend all that time wasted. So anyway, we'll drop that back in, turn off the fire, and then next we'll work on peeling them. Be back in a minute. Okay, now we're going to drain our sweet potatoes. We finished the boiling, and now we're going to drain them so they'll cool quicker. So, hot stuff. Gotta watch your steam. The steam will get you a little bit if you don't watch it. Drain as much water as you can off of them, because if they sit in the water, then they get kind of soupy, kind of. Makes them easier to spread, but sometimes they can get a little too soupy. Okay, that's about all that's going to be. Okay, now, as you can tell, we have the sweet potatoes there. Now we're going to put them in this side of the sink, and we'll fill the sink up with cold water and plug it until the pan starts to float. And once the pan starts to float, we'll turn off the water, and that will speed the cooling of the potatoes so that we can skin them a lot quicker, and that way it don't take all day. Anyway, it doesn't take a whole lot of water to float them. You do want to make sure you don't fill your pot back up with cold water. Thing should be floating any second. There it goes, starting to float. Okay, turn off the water. Alright, I'm going to let them cool a little bit. While it's cooling, I'm going to go change a flat tire on my tractor, and then we'll come back and skin them all. See you in a bit. Okay, we're back at it now. What you do now is, here's the sweet potato. It's soft, pliable. I take a spoon and go scoop it right out of the skin. Dump it in the bowl. You'll leave a little bit, and you'll notice that there's a thick layer. I don't know what the stuff is, but anyway, I leave that on there. I don't take it plumb to the skin. And you just scoop these out and get as much out of them as you can get out. It's not hard. They're cool now. They're easy to do. Nothing to it. It beats trying to peel them while they're still raw. And sometimes you just wipe the skin off of them like that. And you do this until you get it. However, this is a KitchenAid mixing bowl that goes on my KitchenAid mixer, and I will get it where it's about a half to 2/3 full, which is about half of the 14 pounds of sweet potatoes, the 14 to 15 pounds of sweet potatoes. Once I get the 14 to 15 pounds, I'll clean half of them and put them in the bowl. Then I'll put it on the mixer, and we'll mash them, we'll whip them up. And all these little side roots and stuff, they live quite a bit of, they've got deep roots, so go ahead and pull those out of everything, because once you get it into a mash state, they'll mess with you trying to spread it. You'll have lumps in your mashed ones. This is not terribly exciting. I will go ahead and finish getting this the rest of the way done, and then I'll be right back. No reason for y'all to watch me skin potatoes. Okay, we're back now. We got about a half to 2/3 of a bowl of sweet potatoes now. Now I'm going to stick the beater in it, and then we'll go over to the mixer. Be right back. Alright, we're back. Here's the KitchenAid. Put it on. Put it on low to start with. Let it get beat up a little bit. And I add just a little dab of water, maybe a half a cup of water to a cup of water, because it makes it beat up better. It makes it easier to spread. Once it gets started beating up, I speed her up, run it on high, flip them up really good, and you gotta watch it because it'll start slinging little bits of sweet potato everywhere. So once it starts that, you gotta slow her back down. Anyway, as you can tell now, let's see if we can zoom in a little bit. We're pretty well whipped up. So now we'll turn it off, lower it down, take off the beater, pull it out, set it here and have it ready for the next one, the next batch. Okay, now you have a pot full of mashed sweet potatoes. I feel like the weatherman trying to figure out which way to point it so you can see it. Anyway, be back in a minute. I'll get the trays.